So let me ask you a question. What's the first thing you think about when somebody says work your core? You probably think, oh, I'm working my six pack. I'm working those 6 muscles in front of my body to get that nice aesthetic look. And while that is part of the core, it's basically like one of 3 things that you want to be using. There's a lot more that goes into it, but let's break it down into 3 things. Your rectus abdominis, which is that 6-pack, your obliques, and then your lower back right here. Your body likes to move in certain ways. So your spine will move in certain directions. There's spinal rotation, which is rotating on an axis, and then there's spinal flexion, which is this direction, which is flexing that 6-pack, and then there's spinal extension as well, which is just arching your back this way and using these muscles back here. We're working in 3 different planes when we do those movements. We're working in the sagittal plane, which is, just think of this, I'm cut down the middle and I'm bending forward and backwards like this, right? Sagittal plane, this way. Then we got the frontal plane where we're moving side to side like this. Then none of my other body is moving, just side to side. And then we also have the transverse plane, which is rotational. So cut my body down the middle here and just move your body in a rotation, so you're rotating around your spine. And those are really the 3 planes that our body likes to move in. The way you build a bulletproof core is you train in all 3 of those as best you can, because your body is going to be basically attacking from all angles and incorporating as many muscle groups as you can to work out on those planes. So I'm sitting on a bench here. I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible, but I want to show you some exercises that will allow you to train your core in those specific areas and really get a beautiful core workout. So remember, our core is this belt that goes around our entire body here. It's not just 1, 2, or 3, it's all 3. And so I want you to think about as working all of these as best you can in unison or separately, but make sure you hit all of those muscle groups. And I want to show you some exercises that are going to hit those muscle groups so you can build a bulletproof core. I do have a bench here that's going to allow me to lock my feet into certain places. I don't necessarily need one in order to do that, as long as you can hold your feet in place, put like some sort of weight on it, or you can even do it on the ground and just balance yourself. But I'm going to use a bench for this instructional purpose, and I'm going to show you some exercises that you can use to build that core up. So the first one I want to do is basically sit down on the bench, just like I'm doing here, and lock your feet underneath this padded portion of the bench here. So if I lay back, I'm not going to like fall backwards. So right here, we're going to try to work our rectus abdominis, this 6-pack area, and we're going to work in that sagittal plane, which is just spinal flexion. And we won't be doing extension in this position, but really, as soon as you start to feel tension in your core, that's where you're going to want to work. You want to stay in that area. So basically, right here, I don't feel any tension in my core, maybe like a very mild amount. But as I start to lean back, I start to get more and more tense in my core in order to support my body weight. And that's kind of the area you want to stay in. I call it my happy place. So as I'm here, I'm coming down and okay, I'm tense now. So right there is going to be my starting point. And then I'm not going to go all the way back to the point where like I'm coming undone, because if you go too far back, you'll start to arch your back and then actually disengage using your 6-pack, your rectus abdominis here. So you want to find that happy medium, and it's different for everybody, but really it's where you're most tense and you want to work in that range. So again, I call it my happy place. So I'm here, I'm leaning back. So this is going to be my starting point. I'm going to come down and then back up. And I don't want to go all the way up, because as soon as I go to that point where I'm relaxed again, I'm disengaging my core. I like to stay in that nice contracted state for as long as possible. So here, up, and even doing just a couple of these, it keeps that core nice and tight. And as you get more and more fatigue, your body is forced to recruit other muscle groups to help your body from disengaging completely and falling over. So do a medium rep range, finding that happy place, and then working in that happy place. And like I said, we want to incorporate those planes of motion or planes of movement as best we can. And we want to incorporate as many as we can in one workout to get the best workout. So a way you can start using your obliques in that as well, that rotational sort of style, we can lock our feet. So you got the basic down, you got that regular sit up just like this. But as we come down, let's rotate to side to side. So I'm working 2 planes of movement right now. You can do 1 plane of, so you can make it into almost like a dynamic isometric contraction, which isometric is your muscle contracting but not lengthening or shortening, so it's staying in place. So if I were to hold myself in this position here, I would be in an isometric contraction because I'm not moving, but I'm still tense here. A dynamic movement is just moving through the range of motion while contracted. It's really called isotonic, but I like dynamic better. So anyway, we're moving and we're doing different planes of motion as we're going up and down. If you want to work a combination of isometric and dynamic, what you could do is stay here and then rotate. So I'm suspended on my rectus abdominis, but I'm also hitting my obliques in that transverse plane. And then challenge yourself by doing a few reps of each. Okay, so I just showed you how to combine different planes of movement. So the next thing I want to break down is the spinal extension. So we're still in the sagittal plane, we're just going the opposite direction. So same thing, you can lock your feet right here. We're going to lay down the opposite direction. Okay, so lock your feet, come a little bit off this, and all we're going to be doing is coming up. So just about here and back down. And remember, if I'm here, I am in that relaxed state. I'm not in my happy spot. So I need to come up, flex, back down. So it's a lot shorter movement, but I promise you, as you're engaging, your muscles are gonna feel it. And you don't have to like super hyperextend. If you're strong enough, maybe, but a nice small range of motion in this area is gonna be really good for your posterior core. So remember though, we can still do this. So as we come up, you can make it more challenging too by bringing your hands out, because now your weight and center of gravity is pushed out that way and you're having to stretch your muscles a little more. You can change your arms like this. So you go between like hard, easier, hard, easier. You can also rotate. So we'll come up, stay in that position, and we'll rotate, working 2 planes of motion. Ooh, I'm out of breath. But those are just some super simple ways to engage your core properly and build that bulletproof core. And why I call it a bulletproof core is because a lot of people have a good looking core, but it's not functional. Like, you know, people that are shredded, they look really good, but their core, they can't even hold like an L-sit, which your L-sit is just out like this, and do pull-ups or something like that. So we're trying to train functional fitness here. Like, make your core ready for anything. Make it ready for planks, any ab challenges you have, and your body likes to work in symmetry and balance. So making sure that you have all those areas trained. And you can even do, we got the frontal plane too. So same thing, lock your feet. This foot's gonna go on the back and your toes are gonna be underneath the bench, and then you're gonna lock your heel in here. And we're gonna come off the bench here, and I already feel it and tensing up in my oblique. So I'm here, stay in the happy place, here. And you can even add a little bit of rotation into that. Adding rotation is really good because it adds that that second plane of motion. And yeah, I already feel it. So just a couple slow, controlled movements, really engage the core. As you feel like, okay, I'm trained strong here, I'm trained strong here, and you can do them separately, start to engage into like a transition where you're engaging, and now you're transitioning to the outer part of your rectus abdominis and then back out, which is what that rotation is going to do for you. So again, bulletproof core is just attacking your muscle groups from all different angles and allowing you to be pretty much ready for anything. And every workout stems from having a strong core. Every workout. Squats, you wouldn't think that, but squats, pull-ups, like everything has to be a strong core. All these functional exercises, push-ups, planks, they all involve having a strong core. And once you have a strong core, you can pretty much be ready for anything. So remember, just the takeaways real quick. Train not just your front, rectus, abdominis, that six pack. You're training all three muscle groups, the obliques and then the spinal extensors. And then we're working in those three planes of movement. So you got the transverse, which is rotational. You got the sagittal, which is front and back. And then you got side to side, which is that frontal plane, and kind of cut your body down the middle. You can think about it visually, Google it, and you'll see they usually cut a person into like different segments, and you can see which plane to work in, and you can really from there do whatever you want. I mean, that's the big thing about it, is you can make up whatever. And as this becomes too easy for you, I'll grab a medicine ball and I'll start doing the same exercises. Don't change too much, don't overcomplicate it, keep it simple, but add a little bit more resistance to it and your core will just start getting crazy strong. Like, happy place, remember that. That is key, because optimal resistance area, you're training in that, you're ready for anything. You can take a punch to the stomach if you want to. But again, that's my advice for training a bulletproof core, and just really being ready for anything, and then training that foundational area and those fundamentals muscle groups to help you better expand all of your fitness and any other realm. Remember, it branches all from having a strong core. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And yeah, I am a staff sergeant now, so I just got promoted. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.